is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're very pleased to welcome back to the program State Senator Mark Amodei, who is a Republican candidate for U.S. Senate in a very tough primary.
Senator, I go back with you many, many years. I remember when you played basketball at Carson High School. You were on that great 1975 state championship team, which people still talk about. Now, your basketball skills weren't that good.
That's true.
But what you were good at was hustling. You were really, you tried hard and you hustled. And now let's fast forward to your campaign for U.S. Senate. And, Senator, respectfully, what I see lacking is hustle. I see Sue Loudon out, I see Danny Tarkanian out, and hardly a peep from you. So really, when are you going to get into this ball game of this race?
Well, actually, don't mistake lack of press coverage for lack of activity. First of all, when we entered the race, we said we knew we were an underdog. I was reading a thing the other day with a columnist who said, there's a couple people in this race who are millionaires, and there's somebody in the race who has a name, and there's somebody in the race who has a little bit of a following or whatever. And I got to tell you, I read it and I'm going, well, Amodei, why are you in the race? And it's like, well, but for the fact that I think I have the best qualifications of anybody in the race, that I think I've got a 14-year record of never forgetting the people who elected me, that I think I'm the guy best suited to go head-to-head with the incumbent and prevail if you get that opportunity, and finally the guy that's able to go back and start working from day one in D.C. to help the state federally. And so those are things that I think nobody else brings to the race. And when you talk about wanting to be part of the fight to give people that choice, we've been out doing grassroots stuff, meeting with people quietly. It's no secret that I'm not a self-funder, don't have the ability to be, trying to raise money, but doing it, respectfully, those sorts of things. And, through no fault of our own, despite not being a millionaire or whatever, it's like the reception's been great everywhere you go and you actually meet people. So our challenge is project that from where Mark Amodei is in a room talking to people to getting some of that out there. We've got the website up now, went up about a month ago. That folks that did it for us did a great job. We had some trial and error in that, but that's up and going now, so we're going to be more prominent on the web. Got a bunch of stuff scheduled in the next 2 or 3 weeks, so we're going to go swing the bat as hard as we can, Ray, till March and see where we're at. We think it's important for somebody to have a choice in a race that has all sorts of permutations. Every week seems like a new week. All sorts of permutations, but I think when it comes down to it, the bottom line is it really does matter who runs against Harry Reid. And we think we're the strongest tools.
Can I drill down into one thing you said?
Sure.
You said that you're the best candidate to hit the ground running when you get to D.C.
Yep.
Be specific about that, because it's a pretty big house.
Well, and it is, but here's the issue, is I think a lot of the discontentment in Nevada with Washington right now is these people aren't tuned into us. They don't seem to be hearing what's going on in Nevada. You've got national agendas taking the fore of those efforts, those sorts of things. So when you talk about hitting the ground running, it's somebody with a background in land use. It's like when we talk about building a sustainable economy for Nevada coming out of, I agree with Guy Rocha, I think it's a depression for Nevada. I'm not saying that politically, I'm just saying it descriptively. You talk about land use, how do we evolve this economy into something that's more sustainable? Growth is never going to be what it was before 2006, 2005. So those issues in terms of multiple use, when the federal government's an 85, 86% landowner of your state, that should be job one. You are the biggest landlord in the state. How are you going to help your communities grow and sustain economies, attract jobs that pay living wages for the communities, work with the agricultural component, the mining component, the industrial component? That's my background. So I think you can use the federal government processes to concentrate on that as opposed to other things that really don't have that big of an impact.
Okay, you say we're never going to see growth like that again, but the reality is, if you look back in our history, that we go through boom and bust cycles both as a state and as a country, and Nevada has been very good at reinventing itself over the years, depending on the circumstances, legalizing gaming, legalizing prostitution. Prostitution may not be the biggest thing, but they did things, creating Reno as the divorce capital of the world. Then you come into the modern area, the Mirage era, and the tremendous growth cycle you saw there. City Center just unveiled and doing well. So I don't see that. And the other thing is Wall Street is booming again. I mean, we're talking about billions of dollars worth of bonuses. So why not looking at growth again? Isn't it just the next con that's going to come along that's going to give us another bubble?
I don't believe that, Sam, because when you look at what financed a lot of that growth over the last 10 years, the nothing down, interest only, the Fannie, the Freddie, the speculation that went with that, and you talk to people quietly, there's nobody reporting it, but the foreclosure stuff that's still to come in the pipeline, because you can't dump it all out there at once or values are even worse. We're in a little better shape in western Nevada than southern Nevada, but still there's a lot of that still to come. People are talking 60 months. That's most of the term of whoever is elected to the United States Senate. And when you talk about economic development, yeah, reinvent ourselves, absolutely. But land use is going to play a huge role in that. And when you have control over 85, 86% of the land in the state, you're going to be the major player. And I haven't seen a concentration on that a lot.
Okay, let's take a break. More with State Senator Mark Amodei running for Senate right after this.
To contact Nevada Newsmakers, call 775-857-2244 or go to NevadaNewsmakers.com.